Well, hi, everyone. Thank you, moms, for taking time out of your busy, chaotic schedule to tune in and see what this is all about. My name is Nikki, and I am a mother of two. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I'm a former high school English teacher and track coach of 9 years. And now I'm just really enjoying working from home, helping people get in touch with their why and their goals and help them reach those goals and just step into their best self. So I'm not sure what brought you here tonight. Maybe you're curious. Maybe you're struggling with some area of your life, or maybe you're like I was, and I was praying for an answer. I didn't know what I needed, but I knew I needed something. I just ask that you take this time to try to forget about your stresses right now. Try to leave your to-do list aside. And just open your hearts and your minds to this possibility that what I'm about to share with you could potentially help you in some area of your life like it did for me and for so many others. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to talk to you over the next 20 minutes. Okay. So most of us as moms, and even as women, we're nurturing. And in taking care of others, we oftentimes forget to love ourselves. We often just don't take the time for us that we need for ultimate health. So because I'm a mom, I have been really thinking about this a lot. I had struggled with this for quite some time. So my focus tonight is a little different than most weeks when I do my weekly webinar. This is for moms and just talking about the importance of loving ourselves. So all humans struggle with the same 24 hours in a day, no matter what your job or your position in the family is. So we're going to talk about that. And moms, whether you're working full-time outside the home, part-time outside the home, or full-time in the home, your role is unique. And sometimes the weight of the world seems to rest on your shoulders. Balancing it all and not losing yourself and your identity, that can be a whole other challenge. So finally, we're just going to share some stories of hope and hopefully show you some ways to get a little balance back and ease the stress in your life. So we all know the pressures of being a mom all too well. Is your house clean? Is your laundry done? Or are you like me? And some mornings, I think my daughter may have left without even brushing her hair. Dinner, is it in the crock pot? Or do you sometimes scrounge at the last minute to get something on the table? And how about the mornings if your kids are school age? Oh my goodness. Getting the kids off to school, do they have that perfect balanced breakfast so they can start their day off right? Or is it mass chaos some mornings? So the pressures of being a mom often lead us to neglecting ourselves. Something has to give, and many times that something is us. So this can be varying degrees. Maybe for you it's an outward slide, and maybe it deals a lot with the way you look because you haven't been taking the time to exercise and eat right. So maybe it's pounds and inches. I know I used to eat the scraps off the kids' plates. I never really thought about my health and my nutrient needs. I was just trying to get through the day. Maybe your slide is more of an internal one, and it's just not taking the time to fill your own cup emotionally with the things that used to make you, you. Maybe it's exercise, reading a book, taking a relaxing bath, time with your friends, or a hobby or a sport that you used to love. So oftentimes it's time that is robbing us. But maybe you've given up some things because of money. Maybe you're working and earning, but a chunk of it's going to daycare and you feel like you can't take that trip or join that yoga class, let alone the time it would take away from your family. Maybe you aren't earning an income now at all as a full-time mom, and you feel that guilt of not contributing financially. Either way, the result is stress. And the stress of money plays a huge role in the happiness and stability of a family. I work with many moms initially wanting to find health, like I was, but then realizing that they can simultaneously ease some financial stress within their family. So that's pretty neat. And I just love this slide. Some days we feel like this, just juggling it all. So I want to show you, how I'm learning to juggle it all with a little bit more ease. It's not perfection, it's a process. So this is my family 5 years ago. And I was not focusing on my health. To be frank, I was feeling really blue. We had tried to get pregnant for several years, and that's a stress in itself, as some of you can relate. And there was nothing I wanted more than a family. But it's just that no one prepared me for the regular overwhelm of everyday life. After finally having children, we had some added challenges. When this first picture was taken, I was in a really big state of worry and concern. For my kids had some issues going on, but the big thing right then was my husband. He had a sudden, out of nowhere, life-threatening diagnosis. And the thought of losing him was incredibly scary. I recall, doing the household chores that he wasn't allowed to do, and taking that time for me and just really letting it all out. And the thoughts and the fears just poured over me. Could I do this alone? How could I do this alone? I remember putting the kids to bed and just raiding the fridge. I felt like I needed and I deserved those indulgences as I tried to hold things together and be strong. But I felt foggy. I was in a lot of pain. I was unable to exercise due to some pain and inflammation. And I lacked energy to get through the day. So I was turning to crutches, coffee, sugar, even wine. And it was the scariest time of our lives, but it was also, in retrospect, the biggest gift. We began to make changes and educate ourselves and open up to the idea that nutrition could heal. So fast forward 2 years, and we realized we still weren't our best, and we knew that there had to be more. All we were doing wasn't enough. My pain was there, our daughter's rashes were there, we were always tired, and we were gaining weight. So I didn't see this potential gift for what it was when my friend Patty told me about it. Honestly, I looked at nutritional cleansing as a weight loss thing, something that would make me feel better about myself outwardly, not realizing how nutrition would help me mentally and bring a whole new level of health and wellness to my family. So I held back a couple months. Why? Because I, like many moms out there, felt guilty doing something for me. It felt selfish. I felt undeserving. I wasn't contributing much to the household income at the time. How could I justify buying a box of health for me? I talk to moms all the time who feel this guilt in areas of their life, but I knew I needed to do something to shift something in my life, and I did it, and everything changed. First for me, then my family, and then for over 1,000 people whose lives were improved. So my family was my initial why, but it had to start with me. And now all of you here are my why, and this is why I'm sharing this gift with you. So this is the gift that I accepted. It's called Isagenix. And who would have guessed, 2 years, we were doing everything right. And we just weren't getting the results. But who would have guessed there was a tool for my whole family? So we found energy. Greg and I lost toxic fat in inches, and the fog was lifted. We had energy back. The kids started getting the nutrition that they needed. So I had peace of mind. And we went from getting sick all the time as a family to rarely getting the sniffles because we were getting what we needed. And we were getting it easier and cheaper than what we were doing before. So it's even offered our family a substantial passive income and help the stress of that. And really, initially I wasn't so open to that, but now I get it. We're just sharing what we're passionate about, what has helped us, in the hopes that it can help other people. Just like we would share a restaurant, our favorite restaurant, or a good movie. In this case, we can actually help people by sharing what works. Now, what we're talking about tonight is just food. It hasn't been evaluated by the FDA, and our products are not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent disease. The body's the miracle. And when it's fed right and treated right, some amazing things can happen. So, You might be thinking what I was thinking 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I started looking at this. Why do I need this? Why can't I just do diet and exercise? Well, let me ask you, how is it working for you? Because if you're like me, it wasn't working so well. And I found that there was a reason. It wasn't all my fault. It turns out that we face challenges that we didn't face 70 years ago. And we're going to talk about those next. Toxicity, mineral depletion, nutrient balance, getting those ratios right, and motivation. Toxicity. Our bodies were designed with organs to detoxify: a liver, colon, skin, lymphatic system, but never were they meant to handle the load our world is throwing at them. 167 toxins in a day, from the water we drink to the air we breathe to the food we eat to stuff we rub on our skin. Our bodies are challenged. They're in overload, and the toxins go to the only safe place they can, and that's the fat. And more fat is stored on top of it as a protective measure. Overuse of pesticides and herbicides. They leave our produce toxic and nutritionally bankrupt. Our dairy and our meat has traces of whatever the animal has eaten. So cows, they used to eat grass. They used to be milked in season, and now they eat genetically modified corn and worse. And they're taking in antibiotics to keep them healthy and hormones to make them produce more. So our bodies are taking in all of that as well. And again, what our body can't handle goes to our fat. Another toxic element that is just killing us is sugar. We are taking in so much more than we should be, and it's in everything. So we become acidic, we become inflamed, and we crave it even more and more, so it's a vicious cycle. And at one point our culture turned to sugar-free, at another time low fat or no carb, but none of those are the answer. I found that I do like to enjoy the holidays and a party, but knowing what is healthy and what isn't and making a conscious decision, that is what is key. And our cravings are out of control for a reason. Most of us are nutritionally deprived and our brains are craving something. It's just not sugar. So when I started fueling my body right, and my husband found the same, you don't crave the bad quite so much. As your body becomes more alkaline, your tastes actually change. So next, in addition to toxicity, nutrient depletion. Our crops lack nutrients because our soil is lacking nutrients. The pesticides and herbicides are killing everything that was good in the soil. Several studies have shown this, but this one is from UCLA. And what was determined ultimately is that a bowl of spinach in 1953, well, to get the same amount of iron, you would need to eat 43 bowls of spinach in 1997. And it wasn't just iron. A ton of minerals are lacking. Our bodies actually need 90 nutrients, and 60 of them are minerals. So again, all this means is that it's harder to get what our bodies need to really function optimally. So when I learned all this, no wonder diets aren't working. No wonder Greg and I couldn't lose weight and couldn't lose the fat around our middle. No wonder people are tired all the time. And no wonder we see people, and we were those people at the gym who were working so hard and not making any gains. We're suffering from internal stress and inflammation. And when we were going to that gym, we were not getting the quality nutrients to really build lean muscle. But refueling your body properly and getting the quality protein and nutrient timing is so huge when it comes to pre-workout and post-workout. So we didn't know that, but now we do. And then finally, no wonder people are not aging well. Most people we know who are older are reliant on a ton of medication. And we all know cancer rates are going up. I think the last I heard it was 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will get cancer. And I feel like every time I turn around, someone I know is suffering from an autoimmune disease. So people are living longer, but they're not living better. And if you really want to improve the quality of your life and not be so reliant on medication and expensive healthcare, you need to invest in your health and the health of your family now and avoid the pain and suffering and costly healthcare from disease later. But the good thing is that we can change our bodies. We can change how they deal with stress. We can change our mindset in our nutrition to be our best selves. And we are worth it. So I'm going to just flip through a couple moms who I've gotten to know through this journey who've decided to prioritize themselves, and it changed everything. Each one came into this looking for something different, but got out of it so much more than they anticipated. So this is my cousin Amy, and she was lacking energy. She was suffering from GI discomfort and had some stress. And she was really worried about her husband and his health. So she found health. Her husband found health, and she has a new passion for life and a lot less stress, happier gut, and more energy. And this is my friend Jen. She went into this to lose some weight, and she's just loved how it's impacted the health of her whole family and so many others. And this is Cindy. She went into this to lose some baby weight that she could not get off for anything, but she loves how it's given her a tool, lowered her stress level, and given her a daily plan to maintain, and it's given her confidence back. And this is Stephanie. Stephanie took a lot of time to care for other people. Her ailing father, she was taking care of him, and she has lost 140 pounds, and she has maintained that. And she loves this tool, and she loves helping others to really change their mindset. And then lastly, this is Christy Rocco. And she was doing a lot of things right. She was exercising, but she was suffering from some internal issues. And while her disease will never leave her, her body is better able to cope with her illness, and she can be a better, happier mom, and she is giving back to so many, and just a beautiful person. So what is this? Well, it's not a diet. It's about bringing your body into balance. It's a protein-rich, mineral-rich, nutrient-dense superfood, and it combines nutritional cleansing with essential targeted nutrition, and it feeds the body on a cellular level. And what's different about this? Well, people find noticeable results quickly. Many diets involve caloric restriction, and you lose bone density, you lose muscle mass. That's not the case with Isagenix. It's not a poopy cleanse. It targets your cells so toxins are able to be released, so you can find optimal health. And it isn't a diet. As I said, you're not depriving yourself, you're flooding your body with nutrients. And my husband likes to call it his easy, accessible nutrition. And what really sets this apart is the support system, the motivation. When you buy a product off a shelf, you get that product and maybe some instructions, but here you get a whole team of people that are helping you reach your results, and they're eager to help you. We have a ton of support on Facebook. Locally, we get together, we prep meals, we have cooking demos. We just have a community of people from all walks of life who share a common goal, wanting to get healthier and have fun while doing it. And the science sets us apart from so many. You will not see TV ads for Isagenix, and you can't buy it off a shelf somewhere, and that was intentional. John Anderson and the Cougars wanted this to be a belly-to-belly business of helping others, and a company that always strives to keep up with the latest research. So their money goes not to endorsements, but back into research. So these are just two snippets of studies that have been published in medical journals. The first one compared it to the Heart Healthy Diet. 56% more weight was lost, 47% more fat, 2 times the visceral fat. That's the dangerous fat around your organs, and 35% greater reduction in oxidative stress. In the second study, they took it a step further. What about maintenance? So people might do a reset. What happens after that? Well, they found that the people who stayed on Isagenix maintenance system of their choice had 4 times more fat loss, 4 times more muscle, 2 times the metabolism, 3 times the toxins released. So, it works. Not going to focus much on the science tonight, but that is out there if you want to find out more. What I just wanted to share with you was solutions that we have found that just make life so much easier for me and my family. And this is our family. I just wanted to show you kind of the lifestyle that we have fun doing this. This wasn't an overnight thing here, but it's been a process. And, we take a portion of what we'd spend at the grocery store, and we spend that instead in our own online store. Superfoods are delivered to our homes, and, we get paid to do that. So it's really a brilliant marketing plan that many companies are turning to. So our products and our support team can help you get to your goals, whatever they are. And there's so many different ways to get started depending on your goals, how fast and determined you are to get there. So your first step is just to think about where you want to go, where you are, why you want to be there, and talk to one of us so we can help you. A Harvard study revealed that women reinvest a staggering 90 cents of every dollar into human resources. We as women, we make the world a better place, and we need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate the beautiful hearts that we have, and we need to continue giving and lifting other people up. But we also need to take time for ourselves so that we can be our best self. The ripple effect of this is just amazing. So what I've shared tonight is the better world that we've created for ourselves, a world that I never could have imagined. But this vehicle and community are like no other. And empowering women to be happier, healthier, and even financially sound, that is my passion. So in summary, take time to love yourself. Love yourself enough to take care of yourself physically, mentally, spiritually. Do the things that fill your cup. Make time for those. And start with your health. So what needs to change for you? And maybe you don't even know yet. I didn't know for a while, but I knew that something needed to change. And I knew I had to step off that hamster wheel, take a leap of faith, and trust that my purpose and my identity weren't lost. So wherever you are, just know that we do care about you and that we are here to help you. So I wanted to just thank you again for checking this out. And, you know, if you have questions, I'm here. Whoever invited you, we're happy to get your questions answered. We can even plug you into our group so you can kind of get a feel for the community and see what this is all about. We have some local events coming up. We have a cooking demo coming up next week, and we have meal prep coming up. So yeah, thanks for taking the time to check this out. And if any of this resonated with you or touched you in some way, just please reach out. You have a great night.